Good morning, gentlemen.
What's so funny about that?
This just, it's when you realize that you're an SEC coach is a minute like this. Like you're just, it's surreal. Anyway, love my job, love my team, love you guys, love Mississippi State, and love the end of the year and postseason. So we are gearing up for late season, our season, with a three game series at South Carolina. It'll be their senior weekend. They're having an alumni event, so there'll be a hostile away environment, which is what we expect in our league. And we hope to go in there and play really well and upset their weekend and hope that their emotions are out of check. You just never know. But that we go in there and take care of our business and leave there with a sweep or a series victory and finish 8th in the league. We can finish 8th as the highest, 10th is the lowest. If we finish anywhere in that category, we will have a rematch with an opponent we've already played this season. Would be possibly Texas A&M, South Carolina again, or Ole Miss. So we have solidified our spot in the SEC tournament and looking forward to Baton Rouge next week.
Talked last week about the time off at exams and everything. How'd that play out this week and girls practice-wise and all that good stuff?
Well, it's a juggling act this week. Some of them are, exam week is actually next week during the SEC tournament. So this week, they have moved some of their exams to this week. We'll actually have 3 players that are finished with school as we head to South Carolina, but most of them will be taking finals on Monday and Tuesday, which is tough to practice. It's tough to, we're going in for a big series against South Carolina, and they've got wrapping up the end of the semester. They have projects, they have exams, and then a quick turnaround for exam week to head off to Baton Rouge on Tuesday afternoon, really. So they really have Monday and half the day Tuesday to take exams, which limits a lot of practice time. We hope that we've put in enough hours at this point for them to be able to stop for a minute of softball and concentrate on exams. With that being said, a huge series this weekend and a possibility of doing really well in the SEC tournament and moving up in the seeding of the NCAA tournament.
Is that what you brought up? I was kind of like comment on what the question I was going to have. Is it more about seeding now with that South Carolina series and the SEC tournament? You're just trying. I know you want to win both series, but it's about seeding, isn't it? Because you feel pretty confident you'll be in the NCAA postseason.
Well, you never know about the NCAA. The last 10 games are a heavy factor, and we want to make sure that we go out strong, ending the last 10. So I think we're 4-5 over the last 10, or over the last 9 right now, or 4-6 over the last 10 right now. So a strong 2-3 wins in South Carolina skews it a little bit to our side, a little bit above 500, and then you want to play well in the tournament. Just because if you play well at the end, it really shines a light to the committee that you're kind of hot, and we would like to play well. But yes, I mean right now we're playing for seeding in the tournament, and just the sheer reason that you want to win. I want to win every game we play. So if it helps seeding, then great. And I think that at this point, we are looking for jockeying for SEC tournament position and also NCAA positioning. They're 32 in the RPI. We're 30. We have very similar records. We have very similar schedules, and we can help each other out or hurt each other.
South Carolina's not a team that you're not on TV a whole lot, and not a whole lot of people know about them. But
Well, she has two really good pitchers. A senior, Julie Surratt, that has just really come along. A sign of a good coach to me is the players improve while they're in the program, and she's really improved and proven to be a stable go-to pitcher. Their number one pitcher is Nikki Blue, who I think has been in and out of the lineup throughout the year with an injury. She did not throw much last weekend against Ole Miss. She came in and closed the very last game to solidify that series victory. So she has the most innings pitched. She's a sophomore and throwing very well, and it was a good recruit by this new, well, I guess they're not new, it's their 5th year, by this staff. And really done a good job there with those two pitchers. And we all know in softball it starts in the circle, so those two have really carried the load for them. And I look for them to pitch well this weekend, especially with it being senior weekend and alumni weekend.
You talk about being already, before the last series has happened, you're locked in for the SEC tournament. I think a lot of people on the outside probably would have looked at this season and thought maybe a little bit of a rebuilding, something like that kind of year. Have you been surprised by what's happened?
You know, I don't know that I'm surprised. I told people that we were either going to be really bad or we were going to be really special. And I think that has to do with leadership and just the way our players train. No, you know, I don't think that we work any harder than anybody else. Everybody's out there working hard and grinding and lifting weights and practicing and hitting reps. And but it's not how hard. It's what we focus on, and a lot of it is mental, and a lot of it is fight and grit. And where does that begin? It begins mentally, and they also have what I think is a special bond between one another. They're able to not sweat the small stuff. They were able to brush the small stuff off and move on from one little petty thing to the next, which can be deteriorating for a team, especially late season. So I've been pleased with especially not being very deep in the circle. I've been pleased with what Silkwood's been able to do and what we've been able to do offensively. And with that being said, you know, we've already passed our our season totals for 2014 season totals for home runs, doubles, triples, hits, run scores, RBI, and stolen bases. We've already surpassed that, and that has a lot to do with Coach Ricketts. And then it also has a lot to do with our kids buying into what Coach Ricketts is bringing to the table. We're one away from tying our home run record, which was set in 2013. So it just has, I have been impressed with what Silkwood's been able to do for us, and that is to keep us in games. And then offensively, obviously the records speak for themselves, passing the 2014 totals in all those categories, as well as being one away from tying the home run record. The home run record is 51. We have 50, so we can tie it with one more and pass it with two more. So, you know, their team chemistry, Silkwood just gutting it out for us, and the offensive production, I think, is why we have over 30 wins. Technically, probably should have been a little bit more of a rebuilding this year. But it's been fun to ride along with it. But they've got a lot of guts in this group, and we've proven that we can hang and beat anybody in the country with beating number 1 LSU, beating number 2 Florida, taking one from Missouri, one from Georgia, 2 from Texas A&M. So we've proven that we can beat anybody in the country. If you know, I tell them all the time, it's not the best team that wins, it's the team that plays the best. And if we go out and play the best, then we can win.
Talked about the home runs. What's Caroline, her 13 in the middle order? She's had some big hits this year. Just talk about her growing in her second year in the program.
Well, I said last year she was someone that we could build a program around, and as long as we provide protection in the lineup for her, I think she can continue to produce. And I've said before, I asked Jessica Mendoza one time what her favorite pitch was to hit, and she said all of them, that she'd never seen a pitch that she didn't like to hit. So I think that's similar to Caroline. She has an uncanny ability to hit any pitch well, and that means balls or strikes. And when you're facing a hitter like that as a pitcher or a defense, you're just scratching your head and hoping that she gets herself out. And she's our RBI leader again this year, and doing a great job. And we've moved her up and down the lineup a little bit, lead off 2-hole, 3-hole, 4-hole. So I like her in the 3-hole. We've got some people getting on, Julia Eccles and Katie Ann Bailey getting on base for her consistently, and then Amanda Ivy down there in the 9-hole getting on quite a bit to bring Caroline back up. So she's just a steady, mentality-wise, I call her a dude all the time. I mean, she definitely does not look like a dude. She's gorgeous, but mentality-wise, she doesn't get too high. She doesn't get too low. She believes in herself. She has confidence. And a lot of girls, we spend a lot of time building them up and trying to protect their confidence level. And not that we don't do that for Caroline. It's just that she's been able to do that for herself. Maintain a confident mentality, at really every approach. And really when she gets out, 8 times out of 10 is because she got herself out. Not that I'm not saying that there aren't any great pitchers out there that have done well against her and gotten her out, but she's a very gifted player and hitter. So she's somebody that we can continue to expect big things from, and she doesn't mind that. And we just need to continue to protect her in the lineup. Mackenzie Toller's done a good job behind her. And really the all year long, our 5-6 has done a good job. We've seen a little fall off in the 5-6 hole in the last 3 weeks. If we can get a little bit more production from that 5-6 hole right there, I think you'll even see her do better.